Imagine buying the DLC for the hard game that is made from a company that is known for making hard games and complaining later on that the DLC is too hard. So there was a lot of discourse about Elden Ring DLC difficulty as it has its own leveling system, scattered tree fragments, and people are refusing to actually use the goddamn system to be strong. They're hitting their head against the wall, hoping that they will win somehow, and then when they don't get good learning the bosses, knowing when to punish, complain about boss strings, about high damage, about them not doing enough damage, which is kind of ridiculous. You can always use summons, you can always use shields. Shields have been freaking great in this DLC. The new weapons are amazing. People are finding a lot of great weapons even at the start of the DLC from normal enemies, as well as the new other weapons like the bills or the great light swords. There's a lot to find and there's a lot to do. If you explore a bit, use the scattered tree fragments, change your build depending on what needed, really. And if you want, you can do the route I did, which is just using summons, which is perfectly fine if you want to do that. Now, if you want the challenge, then you cannot use the summons. Maybe you shouldn't use the scattered tree fragments, but don't complain about it. And I can understand people who gave a bad review for the performance of the game because some fights, especially the last fight, has an actual very terrible performance with the amount of fucking particles and lights that there is. But also, some people have bugs, glitches, and performance issues overall. And if that's the case, then definitely you need to give a bad review. The board was not ready for PC and maybe needed some little more time in the oven. Now, let's talk about bosses in general. I think the DLC has a lot of great bosses. Rilana, the last boss, Mizmer. These are all really amazing fights in their own. They really challenge you when you can dodge, when you can shield, what you should do against them. And they have very long strings of attacks, sometimes delayed attacks that can really mess up with the timing. You probably die a few times at the start. Once you learn the fight, you can do it. I don't think many fights took me that long, honestly, with the summon, except the last boss. Other than that, mostly it's less than sub 5 tries. Some bosses are really bad though, like Gaius. The hitboxes on him are horrendous, as well as the Golden Hippo fight. It's not a hard fight. It's just an enemy in not a very large area, and then you're fighting the camera movements, which is what makes it really annoying. But other than these two outliers, I find most bosses are actually fun to play against. Really are the next level at the 1.5 of Elden Ring bosses, to be fair. Veil fight as well was amazing. The NPC icon you get there, you have, like, even if you don't use summons, just for the icon fight, please do summon because the icon voice lines are amazing in the Bale fight. Weapons wise, there's a lot of cool weapons. I tried to use the perfume bottles a bit more, but I did not like it. I used the light gray swords, which were super fun. Also used one great katana, the one you get from the Dragon's Peak. Get this charged attack that you can charge and it does shit ton of damage to dragons or anything else if you charge it completely. And if you hit them as well with the weapon as well as the skill, you get shit ton more damage. So definitely we do recommend using it. Use the a close weapon that you get from the Mother of Fingers. That really trivializes every single NPC encounter and makes it a joke. So definitely would recommend getting that and trying it. Also, I think FromSoft really outdid themselves when it comes to regions. There's so much versatility and verticality in the, not just in the regions as well as in the dungeons. There's a Century in Afterlands, the Shadow Keep was amazing to discover too. So the regions wise, they really outdid themselves. OST has a really big improvement too. Ambience plus the actual bosses OST are top tier, especially Mesmer and Bale. Also, the NPCs and quests are nice because there's not as many NPCs really. So it's a small circle. So you go around, do these NPCs. My favorite is Icon because of his boss dialogue, but also Thriller quest was really emotional and nice of how things were worked out and how you get there and how you actually progress it. So yeah, overall, 10 out of 10 DLC. And see you on the next one.